Hello, everyone. Today I'm going to talk about how I was able to sleep better at night. And if you're trying to optimize your health, that is one area you really need to focus on, because if we're not getting good sleep, we're not going to be healthy. And I know for me in particular, if I don't get good sleep, that really just pushes me into a lupus flare. So getting better sleep was on my radar for a long time, and it took me a long time to get it dialed in to where I have it dialed in right now. And let me tell you, I haven't fully, completely dialed it in. The majority of my nights are now good and I'm getting good sleep, but I still have my moments of not sleeping or waking up way too early and not feeling well because of it. So this is still a work in progress for me, but I think it's going to take me a really long time before I'm fully satisfied with my sleep. So let's get into what I'm currently doing and how it's helped. I was having problems with sleep. I was waking up multiple times a night. So it was hard for me to go to sleep. Then it was hard for me to stay asleep. And then around 2 and 3 o'clock in the morning, I was waking up and then not able to go back asleep until 7 in the morning. Now that was crazy. And I felt horrible every time that my body acted like that when it was supposed to be sleeping well. So I did dive into all of the tips, all of the techniques, and let me tell you, not all of them work for everybody. I started walking outside at dusk. You know, some people are saying, watch the sunrise, watch the sunset. So I was watching the sunset. I was making sure the sunset light was getting into my eyes and all of the other tips, but none of it was really working for me. So I decided to start melatonin. Now, I don't agree with always having to take melatonin. I didn't think it was that good of an option for me, but I desperately needed to sleep. So I started taking melatonin, and it helps me get to sleep, but it definitely doesn't help you stay asleep. So even though I was using the melatonin, it just was only still giving me a few hours of sleep, and that was about it. So I continued to use the melatonin because it did help me get to sleep quicker, but then I added in Delta 9. Now, if you don't know what Delta 9 is, it is legal here in Texas in multiple states. And I did a video only on Delta 9. So if you want to check it out, just do a quick search for my videos that featured Delta 9 in the title. But with the melatonin and Delta 9, I was still not resting throughout the whole night. So melatonin helped me get to sleep. Delta 9 relaxed me, and I really like the feeling that it gives me. And by the way, that's Delta 9 indica strain. That's very important because the sativa can be energizing. So the Delta 9 indica, which I talk about in another video, and I was still not sleeping through the night. My pattern was to fall asleep, but no matter what, I was waking up about 2 and 3 o'clock every single night. Something that worked. One of the reasons that I was waking up at 2 and 3 o'clock was blood sugar highs and lows. So my blood sugar at the time wasn't properly being taken care of. Now, this happens with insulin resistance. You do not have to fully be type 2 diabetic to have problems with blood spikes and blood drops, which was very evident when I started to hack my actual blood sugar spike issues. That took about 6 months of dialing in blood sugar to stop waking up at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. What was happening is I was having a blood sugar dip. That was impossible to know. That was the reason. I was waking up thinking I had to go to the restroom, like all of us, but it really wasn't that at all. And I couldn't tell until I took care of the blood sugar issue. So if you have sleep problems, it's important to dial in all of your other problems that are going on throughout your body. So I was able to dial in blood sugar. I had no idea that it was messing with my sleep in any way. I had no indication. So my advice to you, if you're still not sleeping well and you're doing melatonin and whatever it is that you like to do that works for you, take a look at your other health issues. Do you have your A1C creeping up? Do you have other issues that maybe you're not taking care of because you feel there's a primary issue that we all tend to kind of focus on, and we don't take care of a lot of the little things that we are capable of taking care of. So with all of that, I started to sleep better. I was doing melatonin, Delta 9. I took care of my blood sugar issues so that at night I wasn't having any type of drops. After a few months of sleeping really well, my body shifted again and I started waking up at 3 a.m. every single night, not able to go back to sleep. And I was staying awake from 3 to 7 and then going back to sleep for like an hour or two and then waking up feeling horrible, and then would have a lupus flare for the next day or two. I did not figure this out on my own. I actually contacted my functional med doctor and said, I need to sleep. This is driving me crazy and it is harming my health. What else can I do? I felt like I was already doing everything and continuing to do everything, but yet I was still waking up at 3 in the morning. Now, this next tip that I'm about to give you is for women only. I'm sorry, guys, but this one is for women and it did work. The functional doctor mentioned to me that a lot of women, when they start having these sleepless nights, a lot of times it can be associated with low progesterone. Odds are your progesterone is getting lower and lower. And I hit that threshold at some point when I was trying to optimize my sleep. Growing up, I also always had low progesterone, and I only realized this when I was in the phases of trying to conceive. It was revealed that my progesterone was super low. So when she brought this up to me, I realized I probably do have a progesterone problem because now I'm older and it's natural for progesterone to drop. But I also knew that I already struggled with low progesterone throughout my life. So here's the issue. You can go to an OBGYN or a GYN or a type of doctor that checks your hormones and get prescriptions. But at this point in my life, I did not have that option. So I started reading up on what else could I use. I didn't have a prescription to raise progesterone levels. And this is the product that I found. Now, there are other products on the market. I don't want you to think that that is the only one. But when I read all of the reviews, I realized that a lot of the women in the reviews were talking about how that cream helped them become pregnant. And I knew that during trying to conceive, one of the factors that helps is adding progesterone if you have low progesterone. So when I was reading the reviews, I was realizing as they were becoming pregnant and talking about how it helped them in their infertility, that it must be raising progesterone levels somewhere because they were becoming pregnant. Now, that is with a lot of assumptions, and I wasn't really sure what would or wouldn't work. So there were a few things that I wanted to try, but I only ordered that cream that I just showed you and started using that right away because I was that desperate. I just started slathering it on as quickly as I could, and I only used it at night. So this is how I use that cream. Every night when I start getting ready for bed, I put the cream on in an area that doesn't have a lot of fat. They actually say that in the directions. So forearms, calves, wherever at your chest, wherever you are your most lean for you is where you want to put the cream. And in the directions, they tell you how much cream and how to use it. Now, I use it every night before I go to sleep, and it does have an effect on me being able to sleep through the night and not waking up at 3 a.m. In fact, it even has a relaxation feeling to it where I do feel a little bit of relaxation. However, I do want to caution you that it took several weeks of me applying this cream before I actually saw any benefits from it. It was not like flipping a light switch or using it one time and I was magically sleeping. It was a process for me, and it did take a little bit of time. Since then, I have told several friends about the cream. They have also bought it and used it, and they have also said that it helped them as well. So I don't know if the cream will work for you in the way that it worked for me, but if you do have low progesterone, or let's say you haven't checked your hormones or you can't, which was the position that I was in at the time, you can try the product to see if it works for you or not. But remember, you have to give it a large amount of time before you decide. So moving forward to today, Most of my nights I do sleep really well, but I also still have nights. In fact, it just happened 2 nights ago where I just didn't sleep through the night and I was continually waking up. So what I'm doing about that today is I know the cream isn't 100% and I don't have any indication of what my hormone levels are using the cream. In the amount of time that I started using the cream, and it did give me a lot of relief. It really did. Since then, I have found a doctor who will test my hormones. And in fact, I've already done the testing and I'm waiting until next month when we have the actual visit to say, this is what your levels are. And what I'm going to switch to is prescription hormone therapy. And that is going to be a whole other separate video because there are a lot of options when it comes to hormone therapy. And there are also really cheap options that insurance takes care of that will be a little more managed than me just randomly using the cream. So the cream did give me a lot of relief. And if that is the only thing that you can use, try it. And I hope that it works for you the same way that it has worked for me. I have used this cream now over 6 months, and I'm still continuing to use it today. To improve this, and I think help me even improve even the sleepless nights that I continue to have that are kind of off again, that only pop up sometimes, I think I could even do better than that and help my sleep even more if I'm actually being monitored by this particular doctor, checking my hormones and adjusting the medications as we go, or adjusting the hormones as we go. So that is what I'm currently doing to sleep well. I still take melatonin. I still take Delta 9. Actually, Delta 9 has a really relaxing effect, and I absolutely love it for that reason. So then I'm falling asleep easier. I'm staying asleep. And so now the cream that I just told you about, Progesto Life Cream, is now helping kind of fill those gaps until I can see a professional and maybe take a closer look. And I'll bring you guys along on that journey. Now, some of these creams, not all of the creams are created equal, but a lot of them will use wild yams. They will use different types. It's not the same grade as if you got a prescription from a doctor. And sometimes it's supplements that will help you build progesterone, but it's not actual like the strength or the formulation that you would get in a prescription form. So sometimes these creams won't work, or supplements won't work for everyone because all of our bodies are so different. So if this particular cream doesn't work for you, I will leave a link to another product that I was going to try secondly if this one didn't work, because it also had a lot of really good reviews, and it's a supplement that helps you increase progesterone, but it is not taking progesterone. It's taking an herb that helps you increase progesterone. So just to recap, we have sleep disturbances for many different reasons, and my sleep disturbances might be different from yours. I was realizing that I'm too anxious, which is another sign that hormonal changes were happening, because I've never been an anxious person until the last few years. And what I didn't realize is that I'm anxious to the point that it was affecting my sleep, and I just wasn't settling into relaxation mode. Now, the progesterone creams, or progesterone type of creams, also has a slight relaxing effect, but it takes a lot for me to actually realize it. So if you know your body really well, and a lot of us that are this sick know our bodies really well, and we can feel the adjustment as we're taking new product. Now, when I get off of that product, and I did get off of it for blood testing so that I could realize what my true levels were, and I got back on, and I did stop sleeping well, by the way, when I got off of it. When I got back on it, it did take about a week this time, or half of a week, to build back up. And noticed that I was sleeping a whole lot better and not waking up throughout the night. So that answers some of your questions. That's how I'm currently handling sleep. I'm not done optimizing. I still have a long way to go, but most of my nights I do sleep really well, and that has had a very positive effect overall on my health. If you guys have any questions, as always, drop them below, and I'll see you guys in the next video.